Welcome back to Comic Yap. Alright, so far we've covered reincarnation twice, getting sucked into your favorite video game, and getting wished into an alternate reality. So it only makes sense that we do a regression story next. Not just any old regression story, but the 100th one in the manhwa, the 100th regression of the max level player. Yes, that's the title. Here's the first introduction to our main character, unless you read chapter 0, which was a bit of a spoiler, but also kind of not. I don't know. I'm conflicted about it. Read it at your own peril. Just based on the title alone, we know what this sentence means. He just finished dying, and he's in the process of reincarnating. Here we read that his rune for time reversal, what allows him to regress, has been used. It's the 100th time, and it also happens to be its limit. And our main character acknowledges that it's his last chance. That's what makes this story have a little bit more tension. This is important information. The word game is used. Earlier he mentioned game, but he had some very nasty things to say about it. And the fact that this is the 100th time playing means that, one, it must be a hard game. And two, he has the knowledge of playing 100 times. And even then, he hasn't beaten it. This is a main plot device. If you read chapter 0, you know why. But even if you didn't, just reading this one sentence sums up that whole chapter. Here we meet an integral antagonist, Youngmin. Brazenly states he's going to be a gangster. I don't think about pleasantries and friendship when I think gangster. Shakedowns, beatings, robberies, murders, drugs, prostitution rings, torture, power, control, confidence, aggression. I associate all of these with him now. This is so good. We now know that in the world before the game, our main character was abused and controlled by this group, and Youngmin specifically. Many manhwas, they focus on bullying, but this one just brushes up against it. The look on Youngmin's face shows another disinterest in our main character as a human. As the new year bell tolls, the game begins, and with the game comes a sort of referee, a creature that manipulates the players into playing. Based on what it says, it has no care for any of them. I like that they use an angelic figure to play this role of guide. It really twists our sensibility of how an angel should behave. And by doing so, it makes their actions feel crueler. Pacing as good as it gets. Why go into a diatribe about how powerful you are when you can quickly show it instead? Show, don't tell. I like this panel because the writer knows they have to explain things, and that kind of info dump can be boring. But when the main character shows some exasperation at having to hear it for the 100th time, well, reading it one time doesn't feel like such a bother. The explanation just goes on for a while. Here's a condensed version, because some of it is important for the plot. But the crux is, they have to play a game. And simply surviving isn't enough. You also have to be the best, or you die anyways. We still don't have a proper name for our main character, but in this game, the players get to assign themselves new bodies, they get to form whatever they want to be, and they can assign pseudonyms to go by. Our main character chooses Black Scythes. Typical trope, having a status window. You can see your growth and skills in numerical fashion. Strangely enough, this is also where we get to see our main character's name for the first time, Ryu Min. Notice his rune is empty. It's because his time-traveling one, the one that let him regress 100 times, is used up and discarded. Carrot and stick situation. We're gonna put you through hell. Torture you physically, mentally, spiritually. And most of you will die. Friends, family, comrades, you keep these people close, they're gonna turn on you. Oh, but you get a wish if you survive. Ha ha! After all that suffering, I want at least 3 wishes. You know what I mean? I wonder if this is like a genie in the lamp situation where you can't wish for infinite wishes. Is there even a wish to be had? Or is it all a lie? Well, it's way too early to be thinking about that. Can you imagine if Ryu wishes to be able to play for another 100 regressions? This concerns me. We've already established that Ryu can't beat the game alone. He needs 4 more people to make it to the end. But the guide says this sentence, and I feel like something's off. Was this a simple writing error? Maybe translation? Or a terrible tragedy in the making? Let the games begin! This is quite the lengthy chapter. There's so much to unpack, but now that the game has started and the rules are explained, we can cut to some of the more key parts of what makes this manual enjoyable. Based on all the rules and his past lives, the things Ryu says and the actions he takes are full of knowledge and experience. This moment is his first step to finally beating the game. I love that he calls her a thing. It's so refreshing after all the domineering it's been doing. Such a good panel. The sweat, the fear, no, terror in her eyes, the half turned back look in disbelief. This is great art direction. This is interesting. Even the guide is criticizing the game system, complaining about not being able to know more about Ryu. This tells us that it's not as omnipotent as it would like them all to believe it is, and that there's beings above it that created the system and the game. RMC is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. This notification is very important. We learned about what happens if you don't place high on the standings. But now we learn that if you place in the top during a round, you get bonus rewards. It would be boring if every time Ryu regressed, the exact same things happened, especially during his last chance. And these slight deviations in what he knows keeps the audience engaged, because it can get boring when everything is exactly how the MC wants it to, how they planned it to go. Where's the drama or tension in that? We discussed titles before in Ending Maker, and how normally they supersede or reinforce skills and stats, give special bonuses, and this is just like that. One-time use though, better use it wisely if you have a chance to then. Like it said, it's great that you survive, but you also have to thrive while surviving. Otherwise, you're gonna be disappeared. Ryu asks for more. States that the reward felt lacking. The angel's response is peak. I love the look in Ryu's eyes, that brazen confidence that comes with experience and knowledge. I had the same look when I sat down to read this manhwa again. This whole scene is great. From the build-up, the pacing, little bit of internal monologue, and then this. Oh, that look on its face when it's about to taste a knuckle Sammy. Yum, yum, yum. This just helps solidify Ryu's awesomeness in my mind. I want you to experience it for yourself, so I'm not going to show you the rest of this part, but it's so good. Everyone's back home. Players are given a temporary relief between rounds to live their lives. But with the items, skills, powers they gained during the rounds, Youngmin experiences this firsthand by being able to bring up his status window. This creates a duality of troubling situations. What happens to the rest of civilized society When the population dramatically drops, we saw all those people die, and the ones who remain gain superhuman powers. Now it's a battle to survive not just in the game, but back on Earth as well. Ryu knows this issue well, and it's one of his main driving forces. With that, I'm going to stop. This was a great story with a unique take on regression. Good pacing, well-written dialogue that doesn't over-explain and bore, strong characters that just help to hold it all together. This is a winner in my book. With 63 chapters and more coming out, the 100th Regression of the Max Level Player never bored me. Even when it occasionally had some fluff chapters and some droning dialogue, but it always seemed to regain itself. I give it 4.5 status screens out of 5. Remember, the next time you regress, punch an angel for me. Cheers.